weather today again. I think tomorrow I'll get to test that Mini 2 with a different controller, so we'll see if it makes any difference or not. And I guess, what did I read today? This was kind of interesting. As I always said, things like arts and entertainment plays a huge role, just in terms of people's mentality about various things, technology for example. So it's kind of interesting reading this one where so many people are afraid of drones already, like a recreational one. How about using arts to make people more afraid of it, it seems. This one says, Art Against Drones. An exhibit seeks to raise public awareness of the anonymous killing machines. From the looks of it, this seems to be a Reaper drone, obviously meant more for military use, not like a recreational one. This one says, at the High Line, a popular tourist attraction in New York City, visitors to the west side of the lower Manhattan ascend above street level to what was once an elevated freight train line and is now a tranquil and architecturally intriguing promenade. In late May, a Predator drone replica appearing suddenly above the High Line promenade at 30th Street might seem to scrutinize people below. The gaze of the sleek white sculpture by Sam Durant called Untitled Drone, in the shape of the US military's Predator killer drone, will sweep unpredictably over the people below, rotating atop its 25-foot high steel pole, its direction guided by the wind. Unlike the real Predator, it won't carry 2 Hellfire missiles and a surveillance camera. The drone's death-delivering features are omitted from Durant's sculpture. Nevertheless, he hopes it will generate discussion. And by the sounds of it, this sounds like all of the typical stuff people are afraid of in general with a drone. Doesn't matter what it is, even with a toy. It says, Untitled Drone is meant to animate questions about the use of drones, surveillance, and targeted killings in places far and near, said Durant in a statement, and whether as a society we agree with and want to continue these practices. Many times that's ultimately what art is supposed to do, generate some conversation and get you to think. But just in general, people are already afraid of drones. Again, even with toy ones. So I don't think they need any more help in that sense of getting people afraid of it. It's the other way around. How do you get people to stop being afraid of it when people are using it in a practically safe manner? It's more effective and efficient in many cases, and especially for the mass majority, they're just flying it for fun or just taking pictures and videos of sunset, landscape, scenery and all that. I mean, in general, it's just too much hysteria, I would say. You need more arts and entertainment related stuff to kind of calm that down. In terms of calming things down with things like, say, virus and shutdowns and all that, it doesn't seem like it's calming down too much in some places. There's supposed to be vaccines that should help the situation, but there's also stories about blood clots and stuff, and this is kind of interesting. It said, Ontario will no longer give Astrazeneca COVID-19 vaccines as first dose due to blood clot risk. It says Dr. David Williams, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Dirk Huyer, Coordinator of the Provincial Outbreak Response, and Dr. Jessica Hopkins, Chief Health Protection and Emergency Preparedness Officer with Public Health Ontario, are speaking out about the issue on Tuesday afternoon. I know they say it was very rare, but I guess this, for some reason, they're saying, oh, better not do it at all now, it's too risky. I know with this, it was so much conflicting information. Some people are like, oh, it's really rare, don't worry about it, it's worth it if, I don't know, if a small percentage of people potentially get blood clots, it doesn't negate the fact that more people would be, quote, protected. You had things like what, even I think the Prime Minister even got the shot of this one in particular. Now they're saying they're taking it off. Which one is it in terms of, I guess, safety and all that? A lot of conflicting data, and I guess in many cases it makes you wonder, is it based all on data or just basic precautions, for example? Because with the schools and stuff here, this was kind of interesting. This one says, COVID-19 in BC, Dr. Bonnie Henry says there's limited surveillance data on transmissions in school and daycares. For months, Dr. Bonnie Henry has been claiming that BC schools and daycares are safe. But in May 10th briefing to reporters, the provincial health officer conceded that information isn't always available on COVID-19 transmissions in these settings, saying, quote, in terms of the data we have, unfortunately, our surveillance data is limited in both those areas, Henry said. So we will present and continue to present what we do have. So that's kind of weird, isn't it? I can imagine in those cases, it will be afterwards, you find a completely set of data and okay, now basically everything is different now. It says, in responding to a reporter's question, Henry also acknowledged that there's no information available on exactly who transmitted the virus to whom in every one of these centers. But she added there have been deep dives in the Vancouver, Coastal, and Fraser Health regions in some schools. In addition, Henry noted that there have been some small outbreaks and transmissions in child care centers. So constantly changing information will things get back to normal. This feels like a real life game simulation at this point, huh? Alright, see you guys later.